being one, an Ohio State alumni, of course.
Oh,
but,
what a shot.
It's always a wonderful thing when you can bring a life into the world. And we teased a little bit on the picture that he had the other day about all the work he had to do. But shout out to his wife also for the beautiful young one brought into the world.
Ingles on the drive to begin the ball game. Drop it off, and Gobert able to hammer. Royce O'Neal had a career today.
Well, hopefully that play is indicative of how the Utah Jazz want to attack this Denver defense. They knew they had success beating this Nuggets team off the bounce in the first play immediately. Right down the lane, got an easy dunk inside.
Series 1-1. The first one was an overtime win. And that was Denver and Jamal Murray, who opens with the jumper. Game 2, though.
Because we didn't play well in that one game.
He's a coach's son, Brendan Malone, a longtime NBA fixture. And yeah, don't overreact. Get your team into a panic mode when the series is 1-1. Murray springs free and drops in the 3. And so now almost the elevator doors where they close up on the defender. Off iron is Murray, and Gobert sends Conley on his way. Conley had a great playoff last year from Memphis. Now Mitchell. He's got Millsap on a switch, which means he's going right through the defense. Royce O'Neal doesn't want it. Mike Conley does. His 3 is perfect. This is the best three-point shooting team in the hard on O'Neal. Millsap with the rebound. Got to beat the buzzer, turn and hit iron, and Gobert inhales that rebound. Ingles to Mitchell. Good eye contact and the hammer by Donovan Mitchell.
Great up lobs on the backside and easy baskets.
You see Porter averaging 20.5, but Utah's targeting him defensively as a young player. Ingles, another lob, this time to Gobert. And
also Jordan Clarkson, you know what you hire him for. You give him confidence, you allow him to mature and make great decisions, and it's paid off extremely well right now for the Jazz in the playoffs.
Jokic on Gobert, no double coming, spins away to the baseline, and the Joker brings the register. So Monte Morris will handle with Jamal Murray, Torrey Craig, Jeremy Grant, and Nikola Jokic. And the wing 3 perfectly done, and this is why you may have to lead. And Gobert, he has been the roller repeatedly, got his own miss. Rudy Gobert, and look at the Stifle Tower with a lefty hook. Clock at 5. Good cycle to Jeremy Grant, his 3 rimming out. Gobert couldn't grab the rebound, but here comes Mitchell in motion. Donovan Mitchell all the way to the iron to put it up and in. Clarkson, George Niang getting the playing time. Really good defense by Monte Morris. Forces the air ball, and Jokic with the rake and take. And right down the lane after the delivery from the Joker, Torrey Craig never stopped running. Or DJ Dozier call his own number and miss everything. And so this game, you don't have Clarkson going off just yet. He's trying to get himself going. There is his first basket right on cue. Morgan, good ball movement to Niang, missing the corner 3. And all these 50-50 balls going Utah's way.
Well, again, Bob.
For Jokic, but they can't quite find him in the scoring area. Gobert's got another one, and here comes Utah in transition. Final 45 ticks of the first quarter. Denver with 12 points. Utah's done it defensively. Drop it into Gobert again. He flips it up and in. Gobert has been the offense. And it's one way to come up with a stop.
The offense seems like they have 6 guys on the court right now if you're Denver.
4-second difference game shot clock. Jamal Murray. Downhill on Gobert. Right to the rim.
Oh, my God.
Oh, a right.
Actions by the Jazz.
Clarkson with a runner. Rebound batted out nicely by Bradley. Mike Conley and Ingles, Juwan Morgan, Tony Bradley, and Jordan Clarkson, the second unit for Utah. Clarkson on a reload 3 and drops it in.
And Nixon is in the corner. Michael Porter Jr. is hustling to get over to contest, but you have to maintain your discipline and force Jordan Clarkson to shoot over the top of you. Once you go for that pump fake, it's just money.
They need Michael Porter Jr. to do that. Some semblance of this offense when you've got Brandon Porter, Monte Morris, Mason Plumlee, and then P.J. Dozier. The reserves are going to have to score. Utah, their A game in game 2, they are playing wonderfully again today. Conley for 3. Adding Mike Conley already. Monte Morris probing and misfiring. And Ingles will push into the front court. Mike Conley again, wide open 3. And that's going to necessitate the timeout right away.
Combination of the players actually executing their offensive sets to perfection to get the kind of high-quality shots they're looking for.
Monte Morris with a little runner. 20. Does Denver have some type of comeback here in the second quarter?
We always talk about, and you said it last game, and coaches, we talked about how do we close out quarters? How do we close out the half to get momentum? And you're not going to close it out giving up
time. And here's Murray on the floor balance, missing the layup. Porter Jr. to pick it up.
And good call, because that's that turnover, that air ball in the corner. The defense wasn't set getting back. Yes, the shot was missed by Murray. No matchup on Porter Jr. Able to get a layup inside.
I cheated. It's in Phil Jackson's book. The lob to Gobert again. Rudy stepped through, draw the defense, open 3, off iron. And Jeremy Grant unable to hit it. Here comes Clarkson. You can play free and easy when you're up 20. Clarkson attacking. Jokic met him. See Denver scrambling on D, but the man closest to the basket is the one who's open. Gobert.
Defense of the Nuggets.
So down 22. Interim goals for Denver. Try to get to single digits before halftime. Get to something manageable. And Jokic, his second bucket.
1A, 1B player, however you want to say it, for the Nuggets. It's a little bit more challenging when your top player is so unselfish offensively to kind of just go get it. You see it in spurts, but you just don't see it consistently with Jokic because he's such a team player.
And Clarkson just caught. Jamal Murray missing from 3. Gobert another rebound. Gobert's going to have a double-double by halftime. Clarkson dropping it off again. Oh, Rudy Gobert's got 20. Jamal Murray kicking out to Michael Porter Jr. That pretty three-point stroke, best among all rim. And it's up to Jokic on this end to deal with his center matchup. Mike Conley. I tell you, Utah is a mission
to the playoffs. It's all about matchups. And right now, the Utah Jazz feel they match up, as we see, extremely well.
Jokic for 3.
With the second matchup, personnel-wise, against, even though they're the 6th seed, against this Nugget team, and they're able to exploit some mismatches that they do have.
Yang on the drive and flipping it up and in. Well, what Utah wanted, and out of the pack. Clarkson, transition 3, and Gobert kept it alive.
Yeah, had the advantage because of the mismatch in transition with Murray trying to block out Gobert inside.
Donovan Mitchell likes that Porter Jr. matchup. His three-point stroke has been incredible game in the playoffs. It's the easy scoring.
What, the ease, but the efficiency, because he's not taking tough shots. That's why he's become more efficient since we've been here in the bubble, in particular in the playoffs against this Denver team.
Millsap 3. And anything to stem. You keep looking up and you're saying, is it really 22? Yes, it is. The Yang catch and shoot. He drops in the 3. And so for Gobert, he owned the early part of this game. Denver finished on an 11-3 run. Jokic, a very deep 3. And Denver could rebuild this a little bit.
Side of the court, you're paying close attention to him. You hedge in now that corner. You're in this line of sight. He'll get it to you.
Ingles stopped. Mike Conley.
Speaking of which, a little bit more, knowing that Porter Jr. can get back in the game and give you offense.
Conley, off iron, no look pass to Jokic. Better pass to Grant in the corner. Beautiful ball movement by Denver.
Love it, love it. get out and go. And again, you can hit Jokic while he's on the move because he's intelligent enough to know to get himself on balance and then make the play.
Donovan Mitchell has had phenomenal third quarters. Jeremy Grant, Jokic, that was a great pass. Couldn't make the shot. And Royce O'Neal with the rebound. O'Neal again in the middle of the break. Millsap very attentive to Ingles as the trailer. Royce O'Neal catch and shoot. Ingles found him from the baseline. After the wrist surgery.
And it took some time, too, for this team to kind of make the adjustment. Beautiful middle pick and roll again to Jokic. When you're trying to figure out how we fit in, because he attracts so much from the defense. Now you on offense have to make the adjustment. And speaking of which, how about Mike Conley coming back in?
Royce O'Neal, you got to like the way Utah has been built. And if they had Bogdanovich, it's frightening to think of what the Jazz would be capable of. Jeremy Grant backing it up. That's a confident stroke as he hits
that half a step down early. That allowed him to recover to get that block.
He stayed out of foul trouble, so Gobert has been a menace to the Denver defense. Torrey Craig rattling one home.
And like you talked about before, to see if we can pick up a couple of fouls on Rudy.
Mitchell missing. Gobert fighting and getting an extra opportunity. Jordan Clarkson. Use that O'Neal screen. Clarkson trying to get downhill on Monte Morris. And there's Gobert again. Why are they double teaming Clarkson?
The ball, but what you talk about is what you do, on and off the court.
Oh, Jokic threw it right to Mitchell, the former slam dunk champion. Right hand tomahawk. He got crushed in the second half of game 2. You've been to the line twice the whole game. While Utah shot 20. And you're down 32 points. And the series will be 2-1, but it's going to feel like you're down 10-1.
Well, but even in that first game, Utah.
And Mike Conley knows, so you can just see every possession. Let's use some clock. This one, there's no shot clock. The quarter's ending. Just manage the game. Got the big lead. He's been in the league long enough to know how to handle things. Conley playing beat the clock, and that typifies the afternoon for the Utah Jazz. Welcome back.
With this, I think the confidence to get right back in the starting lineup.
I think you just made a great point. I mean, if he comes back and they're down 0-2, and it's more frantic, and instead it's like Jazz were brilliant in game 2, and they just built on it here. And George Niang opens.
Ball in the basket that adds value. Maybe Troy Daniels, defensively, you see something in him that says, you know what, we may need that spark in the next game early on to create some kind of momentum.
Data Bates, G-Op, misfiring there. I'll tell you, Plumlee's still working. Set from the field, now sub at 39.4 with that miss. It has been all Utah.
Yeah, Denver had some good shots, but the turnovers early led to fast break opportunities.
Nice. George Niang can shoot.
Yes, he can. Now the benefits are rim protector, finisher, offensive rebounder. That's the value.
Mason Plumlee hammers it home. 8 points in the paint. I think the alarm bells are going to go off a little bit more being down 2-1 here as Plumlee hammers that home.
Well,
as buzzsaw the Nuggets the last 2 games. Is Moutier missing? A nice follow by Mie Oni.
Yeah, and for some of the lower seeded teams too, having played here now, where you don't have home court, you don't have to travel, lends itself to allowing those teams to feel a lot more confident, especially the younger players, of not playing in pressurized situations on the road.
Bowl. Remember, Nurkic was a first-round pick, but Jokic was a second-round pick. Mm-hmm. That's the. Everyone wants to go crazy on the lottery, and believe me, you get great players, but Mie Oni was drafted 58. You just answered a really key question there, because with Ingles and Royce O'Neal as wings, then three-pointer dropped in. Deal with Ingles at the three-point line.
Well, maybe, you look at starting Jeremy Grant.
And a nice finish in the foul there by Dozier.
For a team to feel good about themselves, and now it's tied back up. And now momentum feels like, okay, Denver feels like we've taken their best shot, but we recovered.
Right. Well, It'd only be 2-1. Kind of keep re-emphasizing as Moutier scored on the other end. Not a lot of time to think about it, playing every other day as these series go on with no travel and nowhere to go because you're with your teammates. Bol. He was the tallest Nugget ever to hit a three in.
It is a different game right now, but you know, it's funny when his father was in Golden State and Nelly was the coach.
Yep.
This thing going, he's hoping to repeat and get it for the third consecutive year.
Well, I think the issue, we talked about it earlier, you know, he also rebounds at a much higher rate than the other people that'll be in the mix. So how the voters look at it kind of remains to be seen.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of bigs always have the edge, so to speak. And also not just the block shots, it's just his presence influences and dictates a lot on the defensive end that other guys can't do. You know, wasn't there a stat, something that said that Marcus Smart wasn't in the top, wasn't included in that?
Bol. One of the greatest seasons ever is when Michael Jordan averaged 38 and was named Defensive Player of the Year in the same year.
Yeah, extremely difficult to do both, but as a professional, as what you look at it, Marcus Smart is one of those guys that year in and year out.
All right, Tucker's got 5.
Good shots, too.
Yeah.
It's not like he's just hunting for shots. And, again, that's very important at the end of the game is that even though you're in the second unit, you have the blowout, continue to kind of run your offense a little bit and take the shot when you're open.
So now, I'm going to say this before the next basket as the shot clock is barely beaten by Tucker. Look at the Utah scores in the 3 games. 125, 124, 124. They're right there. And Celtics Sixers are on the way. Clippers Mavericks. We got a great slate on TNT in the bubble this evening on the air ball. 120 in the 3 games by the Jazz. Problem is, Denver's not scoring 135. And it is 2-1 right now in the final 5 seconds. So the Utah Jazz, they lose game 1, bounce back impressively in games 2 and 3. The return.